Welcome back to Design Build Workshop. Today we're going to start on a four-part series on how I design and build and construct a manufacturing area in my HO scale layout. And it's all going to be done through the 3D printer. So we'll start initially with the layout, the types of buildings we want to have, the size of everything, and then we'll go into actual designing the buildings and how I go about designing all the little elements for the buildings, and basically with the idea of being easy to do with a 3D printer. And then the next one we'll go into as far as actual design of the buildings themselves, how I design for 3D printing so that when you print something, you can get it to come out the way you need it to. A lot of this is because it'll be bigger buildings. We're going to have more of like a kit that's going to have to be assembled after we print everything. And then, of course, the next two series will follow up, and with the final series of the actual thing being put in place. Anyway, I really hope you enjoy the series. I have my layout hung from the ceiling in my garage. You may have seen a system like this before because I saw this on YouTube as far as how to raise and lower a mobile train layout. But this is working pretty well. Obviously the garage gets a little dusty, so once I get a little further along on my build for this, I'm going to go ahead and set it up so that I can cover it so it's not going to get all dusty and everything. So I think the industrial complex is going to go like here. It's kind of like map it out a little bit. I think we can even go out this far. And probably around like so. And we may even have this bump out a little bit to like here. So maybe within this area, and I've got two other tracks that are coming over here. These are elevated. These are all going to be on trestle. They're going to start from over here and then run all the way across. This one is going to be the working line or the main line. And so it'll come under the mountain here. And then when it comes around, it'll come in from over here. And we've got the two sidings, or off this siding, and we've got the two other sidings that'll come into the complex. I'm not sure if I'm going to have these just like this. I may have one come further away. But right now I'm just trying to get an idea of where everything's going to be. I went on Pinterest and then I looked at some stuff on YouTube as well to get inspiration for the design I wanted to use, or the type of buildings I was looking at. Found some really interesting things. Also liked some things that were really Art Deco, more of from a fantasy, like a game of some type. But I really like the design, the Art Deco influence on it. I like the arch ceilings. I might try to do something like that with like grid work. I really liked the entryway of this one picture I saw. So these are kind of what I'm using for my inspiration for what I'm going to do. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to strictly follow what it is, but it's kind of giving me some ideas to kind of go off of. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Now another feature I was thinking about with this layout, and I'm not positive I'm going to do this yet, but pretty sure there's going to be a waterway that comes through here and maybe kind of snake its way around here, or maybe even go way over here. So that may move these lines a little bit, and I just have to figure out where that waterway is going to go. So here's my 4x8 layout, and I'll try to explain some of it. Forgive the strings, but that's how it lowers up and down from the ceiling. So the section right here where the cork is, that's the main line, and so that's going to go under this mountain and go around here, and then you can see we've got a turnout right there, and that goes into where the industrial complex is. And then these risers are going to be where these two lines right here, they're going to be elevated, and they're going to come around and hit that, and they'll kind of cross over. So you can see this one's here on the inside, and then when these come around, they're going to cross over the main line, and then be on the outer edge. So really right here, right against the outer edge. And they'll come around, catch these risers under the other mountain. So the mountain will come up, up over here, and they'll go around, and this pink line right here is the main line. So the other two will come around, and then at this point, this is going to basically be where the mountain kind of stops, and then we're going to have trestles that are going to run through here parallel, cross over the main line, and then come back to where we kind of started right there. And if I back out a little bit, you can kind of see what we've got going on here. We've got the one mountain right there in this corner, and we've got the other mountain in the other corner over there. And then the town, small town, is going to go in this area right here where all this stuff is right here. And then, like I said, these are going to be elevated. So I can have some stuff going on kind of underneath these tracks because that's going to be a trestle. I think I may even have an elevated station that will be here for like a passenger station. And then these right here are the sidings that are going over. And then one other siding is going to go to the inside. That's right there. And I'm not sure where that's going to stop, but somewhere right there. Anyway, there it is in all its glory. So we're going to go ahead and mark this out. This is 12 inches. And then this was 16 and a half. And then this is 24 inches. And then this bump out, we'll say that's 10. And then this, we'll say is 14. And then this piece, we're going to call that 5. And then we're going to go ahead and draw this on this small post-it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is get the basic outline of the space that we have that we're going to try to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and create a square or rectangle. And then we're going to make this 24 because we know that longest length is 24 inches. That's going to be 12. Okay. So that's the one rectangle, and here's the little additional one that's off to the side. Remember, the shape is kind of like that. So we're going to represent that now. Okay. So there is our layout for our space where our buildings are going to go inside. This is the room we have available. And these hard corners aren't necessarily, this is all a little flexible, so we can always play with that a little bit. So when I design in 3D, there's a couple ways you can approach it, at least the way I look at it. You can design it life size. So, everything is the way it would be in real life. And then when you're completed with it, when you go to print it, you set it for 1/187th scale, and then basically you have HO scale, or whatever scale you use when you print it in. The problem with that is, at least with my software, and I don't know what software you're going to use with your designing, if you choose feet as the unit of measurement, that becomes a problem because when you start bringing things that are smaller, and I've got everything done in feet, sometimes like a doorknob, I'm not going to measure that in feet, or some kind of detail, I'm going to have that brought down to inches. So now I'm dealing with two different units. So what I do is I design basically in scale, and approximately. So when I've basically printed out a sheet that has all of my reference measurements. So, what is 1 foot in 1/187th scale? What is 2 feet in 1/187th scale? So on and so forth up until 10 feet. And so that way I know when I'm designing, I can use that increment of an inch and I'm going to get the size that I need for the scale that I'm drawing in, or the scale that I'm designing in. Now right now I'm just extruding all the same height, and that way we can, the extrusion we can kind of screw around with later. And we'll do a third building. And it doesn't mean we can't use the same building in a different orientation and then change it a little bit later. So we're going to make this one. Now the orientation doesn't matter, whether it's vertical or horizontal or whatever. So this one, let's make this 4. We'll make it a little bit wider. 3. Okay, so we're not quite square. We'll extrude that. Hit OK. I'm going to call that building 3. So now we're going to bring up this, which is the factory space. We're going to go ahead and we're going to insert building 1 right there. And the only thing I want to do now is make contact between building 1 and our space. Okay, now I can still move our building around. I can also rotate it to a different direction. We're going to say that's okay. And now we're going to insert building 2. Put that there. Do the same thing. Make it so it's touching that space. Okay. Good. And now I'm going to insert building 3. Do the same thing. Okay. So now that I have these here, I can kind of look and see what I want to do. So if I want to move this one over to this corner maybe, and then this one up here, and then here like so. What I think I want to do, so I really like those overhead bridges that connect buildings, like a gangway. So what I think I'd like to do is something like this, but maybe back this up a little bit. And then we'll put that one right here. And put that one here. And then maybe this one, the smaller one that goes here. Or, like I said, we can cheat our space a little bit, and I can intrude over this way and make our spaces a little bit bigger. So what I'm thinking of right now is that this will be like the main manufacturing center, or the area that I have. Maybe I've got like some, casting going on in this one, right? So maybe we'll have a blast furnace that goes along with this one as well. And then maybe this one is maybe more of the manufacture plant, where we've got like power hammers or trip hammers or whatever. So we get the casted parts here, and that gets brought over to this building here. And then maybe we have some smaller buildings that maybe are like a welding shop or that kind of thing. I mean, so maybe there's a couple of those, maybe at various sizes. You're probably going to have an office in here somewhere. I also want to, I think I want to put like a gateway coming in, but that's going to be like where the road is centered. Right now, the way we've got it oriented, in the way, with the way this piece is the train or the tracks come in. I did this drawing before. The tracks come in from right up here. Now they're closer together. I've got it drawn differently, but I guess essentially it's kind of like this, the way the tracks come in. So they're going to come in from this edge. And I can manipulate those how I want. I can have them, widen out like I did in that drawing, or I can have them come in narrow and then have one spur come off. but I'm thinking the road access to this complex is going to be from this side right here, because we've got the rail access coming in this way. So technically, I guess the front of the building will probably be over here, or that gateway that I was talking about. So we may reorient the buildings and rotate them around, which is easy enough. We can just go ahead and do this, and we can kind of twist it around. So maybe I want it, like in that orientation. And then once I have it there, maybe this building is here and here. Maybe this is over here. And we've got our gangway going across here. And the tracks actually run maybe through this building. And then alongside here, maybe we've got a dock on this one as well. So anyway, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out the exact sizes. This is pretty close, I think. And I think we might make another building size or two. And then we'll do these, we'll print these out 1-to-1 and try them out on the layout itself. So I've got my approximate building sizes cut out with these pieces of paper. So I can place them how I want. And like I said, if I do that, and then maybe I do that, right? Or maybe even they go back here. But I want this one to be a little more prominent. So I think I may set this one something like this, maybe back a ways. That I can cheat this all I want. And maybe bring this one here. And then maybe have 3 smaller ones along here. I think I would like better, maybe have these 3 along this way. Maybe bring this one up a little bit. And this one over. Like that. And then maybe have these 3 be over here. And then have this one be kind of like the main building from the front. And maybe it's backed up a little bit, and there's like a gate or an entryway right here somehow. And then we can change how this comes off, and maybe have one of the tracks that basically runs all the way through this way. And then I did think about having one actually kind of run through, but I don't think I'd want to have it run through this one and this one. So, but I think I like this number of buildings. So I think this is maybe the kind of layout, something like this is how we'll go. I may remove something because I was thinking about putting a blast furnace, but maybe that could go, here, close to this. So anyway, like I said, I want the gangway. I think I may even just do this. I may just open this up a little bit more and just make this complex a little bit bigger. I could even take this one and turn it in this orientation and have the track running right along this one. And then maybe it does something like that. And then I've got my gangway through here. Maybe back this one up a little bit. I don't know. And then maybe I just shorten this one up a little bit so I can get the gangway. Maybe we've got one that does this, and then maybe these run along like that, right? And then we've got gangways that connect those. And then I can also maybe bring these up so they can have docks on the ends. So I think we've got a lot to play with, and I think I'd like this building. So this is probably the largest one I want to do. I've got, actually this should be like an inch longer. So that might be something we do. But I think with the sizes we've got, I think I like that relationship between the area I've got and the size of buildings we're dealing with. So I think that'll be pretty good. I'll move on from there. Thank you again for joining me on Design Build Workshop. See you next time.